On this episode, big real estate brands matter more when you're selling than when you're buying, but even then, they don't really matter. I mean, sure, like they do, but not really. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 41 of the Ask Jason Show. This episode is going to be maybe trouble, possibly. This episode is going to be about whether or not the agent that you hire needs to come from any particular brokerage and if the brokerage itself matters at all. A little bit of context. The brokerage is the brand or the label that any realtor works under. So I'm with Keller Williams, happens to be the largest brokerage in the world. Other people are with Remax or Royal LePage, a couple of the other bigger brokerages in the world, and Royal LePage certainly in Canada. Things like Century 21 or a successful local brokerage, an independent one like Hanlon or the Home Team or 3% Realty. I feel like now I need to name like every brokerage. Anyway, do these brokerages matter? I've been... We had to take a break because Joe had to cough. Are you good now? Okay, I've been vocal about my opinion on the value of brokerages. I want to add some clarification to it. I'm not saying brokerages don't matter, because they very, very clearly do. I'm a big fan of branding. Branding is super important. But over time, as the individual agents have the accessibility to create individual brands for themselves, their ability to do that lessens the necessity of an overarching brand that holds a lot of power. Over the years, there have been times where Coldwell Banker was the biggest brand, or Remax, or Keller Williams, or Royal LePage, and some of these larger brands hold big contracts. Like there's a lot of relocation work for government services that is under contract by Royal LePage. So is there some value in the Royal LePage brand because they have that access? Yeah, of course. Is there value in Remax because the red, white, and blue balloon has been for a long time a mainstay and consistency of brand? Yes. Is there value in Century 21 as being one of the oldest brands that's out there? Yeah, absolutely. But are they as valuable as they once were? I would argue no. Are they decreasingly valuable as it becomes more and more possible for individuals to build their own individual brands? I would argue yes. For instance, the Ask Jason Show. We rewind like 20 years ago. This would have cost us literally millions and millions of dollars to get this amount of information in this type of production out to this many people. Now it's so accessible. Now it's me and my buddy, Director Joe, hanging out literally in his dining room, sending this information to you. The accessibility of this allows us to create an Ask Jason brand where people can trust us as real estate experts. And because we can elevate our own brand, I'm not saying that decreases the value of the Keller Williams brand, because it doesn't. It's the biggest brokerage in the world. It's one of the best training companies, not just real estate related, but of all companies. It's award winning. So I'm not lessening the value of the KW brand. I'm just dictating that when you go to hire a realtor, it doesn't matter if they work with Remax or Coldwell Banker or Royal LePage or 3% Realty or whatever. It doesn't matter where they work. You need to buy into the personal brand of the individual that you want to work with. And personal brand is just a fancy word for saying reputation. You need to place trust in the individual. That's how I feel about it. The person is more important than the brand. If there's somebody out here who disagrees, we can argue about this over and over again. If you can prove to me that you're right and I'm wrong, I will go make a video and tell everybody that's true, but I don't think it's the case. I will drill a little bit deeper. There's basically two reasons to hire a realtor. You're hiring somebody to help you sell something, or you're hiring somebody to help you buy something. In this particular case, hiring somebody to help you sell something, I would argue that the brand of the realtor holds a little bit more value there than it does when you're hiring somebody to help you buy something. There's no resources of the larger brand of a brokerage that you need to pull on or that you can benefit from when you're working with the buyer's agent the same way you can when you're working with a seller's agent. Like for instance, if you go Google an address that's for sale, one of the first things that are going to come up is going to be Century 21 and Royal LePage, whether or not they have the listing. So there's some value there because these guys have been around for so long. Google trusts them, and the way that the data distribution facility that the Canadian Real Estate Association has, these guys have built long-standing websites so they get really good organic search engine optimization results. Is there more value there in hiring a bigger brand to sell? I mean, I will concede and say that that's the case. What's more important again is the brand of the individual and that individual's track record and their ability to create marketing and a trusting relationship and to negotiate on your behalf. Because if it was all about the brand, then you could say that every single agent at Keller Williams must be better than every single agent at RE/MAX because they're the biggest. And that's ridiculous. That's insane. I'm sure that there are tons of people who work at RE/MAXs all over the world that are better at their job than tons of people who work at KWs all over the world. That's not the point. It's not about the brand, it's about the person. I think that's all I have to say about that. That is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I got nothing. Until next time. That's it. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you. On this episode, we're both sick, so we keep having to pause it and cough. Okay.